Good day, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Before we start our lesson, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share my videos. And also click the notification bell so that you will be updated every time I upload my video. There you go, guys. Let's start. So, our lesson for today is interpret plans and drawings. The Farming for the Future FFTF program can help you to plan the best farm layout. It is an initiative of NSW government agencies focusing on whole farm planning. A whole farm plan considers the farm's physical, human, or personal resources for both now and the future. In this lesson, you are expected to learn how to design farm plans and layouts according to the crop grown. Number 2, follow a strictly planting system and practices to approve cultural practices. And number 3, interpret irrigation system plan according to. Before we start, let's have an activity first. Write an answer in your notebook. Number 1, what are the different types of testing the viability of seeds? I will give you time to answer. Let's have an activity again. Make reflection paper on the importance of the following proper distance of planting. Send it in your Google Classroom or Messenger. I will give you time to answer. Interpret plans and layout. The success of an agricultural enterprise largely depends on proper location. The location dictates the cost of product, operation, harvesting, and transplanting, accessibility to inputs, and others. If you already own a farm, select the kind of variety best adapted to the place. Letter A. Factors in selecting farm. Number 1, climate. Condition in the locality determines the kind of crop to produce. Example, a carrot is a cool season while eggplant is a warm season. Letter A, temperature. Letter B, rainfall. Letter C, wind velocity. And letter D, relative humidity. Number 2, topography. Refers to the terrain of the soil, whether it is in the hill or lowland. It determines the ease of transporting farm implements and produce kind of plant. Number 3, soil. Characteristics to consider in choosing the crop group. Example, sand, clay, and loam. Drainage, depth, fertility are the most important in the soil. Number 4, accessibility. Easily reached by vehicles. The nearer the place, the lesser the transportation. Number 5, water supply. Distribution and amount of water for irrigation. Number 6, socio-economic consideration. To determine the enterprise, consider the following. A, peace and order. B, cost of labor. C, infectious diseases. And letter D, price of the land. How crops are arranged in row planting. Row planting is a system of growing plant in a linear pattern at least in one direction. Crops are planted in rows or straight lines, either singly or in multiple rows. Rows planting arrangement. Row planted crop are either arranged in single row or in multiple rows. In row planted trees like coconut, oil palm, and rubber are arranged in square, rectangular, quincunx, triangular, or hexagonal. Multiple row arrangement is a system of growing crops in blocks or strip or more rows. Spatial arrangement is the system of portion of the farm area or any growing surface for crop production. B. Methods of planting. A. Direct planting. Seeds are planted directly in the field where they will grow permanently until harvesting. Usually done the plants with big seeds such as beans, corn, peanuts, okra, patola, upo, and ampalaya. Seedlings sown in direct planting exceed the normal number of plants. Thinning is done. Thinning is removal of excess seedlings. In the case of seedling planted in seed box or seed bed, breaking off can be applied. Breaking off means planting apart to give the seedlings greater space. Number 2. Indirect planting. Plants with the small seeds such as cabbage, pechay, mustard, tomatoes, eggplants, and spinach are sown in the seed box or seed bed in a rows to produce seedlings, which are transplanted into field. Seedlings with 3 or more leaves are now ready for transplanting. Transplanting. Transplanting is done when seedlings have attained 12 to 15 centimeters in height and 3 to 4 leaves have developed. Steps to follow in transplanting seedlings. 1. Water the seedlings before pulling. Number 2. Pull the seedlings carefully without shaking off the media from the roots. Number 3. Plant the seedlings immediately to prevent the roots from drying out. Number 4. Gently press the soil around the roots. And lastly, number 5. Water the seedlings at the surface with a gentle stream of water and settle the soil around the roots. Land preparation and planting methods. Land preparation is investable in crop production. When properly done, it can eliminate most of weeds and soil-borne diseases. It also improves the water holding capacity, drainage, and aeration of the soil. Likewise, it makes field operations such as furrow irrigation and mechanized weed control easier. Steps in preparing the land. Number 1. Clearing. Clean the area of weeds, humps, rocks, and other debris by using bolo, sickle, and other tools if needed. Number 2. Tilling. Till the land by plowing or by using grub hoe or pick mattock depending the physical condition of the soil. Help the plant roots penetrate deeper into the soil for more nourishment. Tilling done at the beginning of rainy months. Tilling is also destroying the weeds. Number 3. Harrowing. This can be done using a harrow drawn by an animal or machine. It can pulverize the soil, leaven it, and remove the plowed seeds. Number 4. Applying compost. Improves soil fertility and soil texture. Green manuring is another way of improving the soil. a process by which a legume crop is plowed under the soil at its flowering stage to be decomposed before the planting of the crops. And number 5, layouting, staking, and marking. Eggplants, okra, and tomatoes are planted in hills, while plots are prepared for leafy vegetables such as mustard, pechay, and others. Beds are elevated in order to provide drainage, especially during rainy season. Cultural requirements. Applying fertilizer. Fertilizer is organic or inorganic that is added to the soil to supply nutrients to growth of plants. A good fertilization program strives to maintain the current supply of nutrients to optimum levels. It is achieved by proper timing and the rate of application, thus gives us assurance for better yield of the crops. There are two kinds of fertilizer. Number 1, organic fertilizer, all natural from vegetable and animal waste and decomposed plants and animal remains. The examples are decomposed animal itself, the manure, green manure, worm castings. Number 2, organic fertilizer. These are the man-made fertilizers. Example, urea, ammonium sulfate, pellets, granules, or liquid. The methods of applying fertilizer. Number 1, basal method. Fertilizer is applied first before and during the plants. Number 2, side dressing or top dressing. Fertilizer is applied to the crop that is already growing in the field. And number 3, spraying. Starter solution fertilizer may be sprayed on seedling, poured in seedbed into the transplant hole at transplanting time to assure good seedling vigor and rapid growth of new plants. Major elements needed by plants. Number 1, nitrogen for healthy growth of leaves and flowers. Number 2, phosphorus for good root and stem development. And lastly, potassium for better leaves, stems, flowers. It also produces bigger and heavier fruits. Fertilizer, especially inorganic, should be applied in the right amount and at the proper time, or else they will defeat the purpose. Letter B, weeding. Weeds are enemies of plants. They lower crop yield and compete with crops for light and carbon dioxide and water soil nutrients as well. Kinds of weeds: grasses, sedges, and broadleaf weeds. Methods of controlling weeds. 1. Mechanical. A method that involves the use of hand pulling, hoeing, cultivation, mowing, and burning. Tillers drawn by animals or tractors are used in large-scale plantation. Number 2. Chemical. The method of modern weed control that involves chemical called herbicides. Number 3. Biological. This is method that disrupts the ecological status of pests through the use of organisms that are natural predators, parasites, or pathogens. Letter C. Crop protection. Number 1. Insect pests cause great damage to crops. They chew, suck, and lap the leaves, flowers, and fruits, hence decreasing the yield and quality of produced goods. They also transmit disease to man and crops as well. Common insect pests: A. Beetles, caterpillar and moth, flies, beanfly, leaf miner. True bugs: green soldier bug, aphids, hopper, and mealybugs, grasshopper, and crickets. And lastly, ants. Control methods. Letter A. Culture method: the use of resistant varieties, use of crop rotation, use of intercropping, use of hand picking, and the use of botanical insecticides. Letter B. The chemical method, which is basically the application of chemical resistance. C. Biological method, the use of plant attractants such as basil, sunflower, zinnia, cosmos. The use of trap plants such as amarillo. Safety measures in using chemicals. Letter A. Use least hazardous products. B. Dispense and mix chemicals in well-ventilated areas. And letter C. Use appropriate PPE or the personal protective equipment. Number 2. Disease is more harmful than insect pest. Its presence is unnoticed at first, but when noticed, it is already in this advanced stage. Detection of this casual organism is not easy as well. Hence, controlling the disease is not easy. Harvesting. Production ends at harvest time. Harvest means the careful separation of commodity from parent plant. Types of maturity. Physiological maturity. Stage of development when the commodity has attained full growth and development. External and internal characteristics of fruit allows normal ripening after harvest. Number 2. Commercial maturity. Stage of development when the plant part possesses the necessary characteristics preferred by the consumers. These are some pointers for harvesting some crops. Number 1. Tomatoes are harvested before they reach the ripe stage. Number 2. Cabbages are picked when heads are full grown. Number 3. Peppers are gathered green but should be allowed to ripen when used for seasonings. Number 4. Green beans are best picked before the pods become stringy. 5. Lettuce is gathered before seed stalks begin to develop. Number 6. Okra is best picked when young and tender. Number 7. Young corn, when harvested early in the morning, is sweeter than those harvested at noon. Eight. Pechay and mustard have higher consumer appeal when harvested between 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. because damage in stem and leaves is lessened. Mangoes should be harvested from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. to minimize latex flow. And number 10, tomatoes are harvested before they reach the ripening stage. Irrigation and drainage in agricultural production. Water is very important to crops. In the absence of rain, irrigation provides the necessary moisture and carrier of plant food to obtain maximum growth and development of crops. Two systems of irrigation. 1. Gravity, a system of irrigation that requires a dam to direct the water to a stream. And number 2, pumping, a system of irrigation that uses a pump to draw water either from a nearby stream or a groundwater supply. These are the methods of irrigation. 1. Surface irrigation. The water is applied on the surface of the soil, either in furrows or by flooding. This is the most economical method of irrigation. Number 2, sprinkler or overhead irrigation. The water is applied in the form of a spray or artificial rain. This method uses water efficiently and the operation is flexible. Number 3, drip irrigation. The water is applied through pipes at calibrated pressures. Different designs of irrigation system. Surface irrigation. Furrow only a part of the land surface is watered, thus minimizing evaporation loss. These are the images. Letter A, furrow irrigation by cutting the ridges. B, furrow irrigation with siphons. These are the image of border irrigation. Design parameters of border irrigation system. Number 1, strip width. 2, strip slope. 3, strip construction of leads. Number 4, selection of advanced stream. And 5, the length of the strip. Basin irrigation system. Number 2, components of sprinkler irrigation system. These are the image. Types of conventional sprinkling system. A, fully portable system. B, semi-portable system. And C, fully permanent system. Number 3, drip irrigation. Component of drip irrigation. These are the image. Drainage. Excess water in the field is removed. Excess water in the field may damage the crops, cause runoff, and leaching of soil nutrients. Methods of drainage. 1. Natural. The method that drains excess water from the fields without intervention of man. Number 2. Artificial. This method may take the form of open ditches and tile drains or under drains. This is the best method of removing excess water from the field because the water passes down quickly, avoiding the removal of surface flow. After all those lessons, let's have an activity. Below are pictures of different crops. Write DP if the method of planting for the said crop is direct and IP if it is indirect. I will give you time to answer. Watch a video presentation showing the different cultural practices in crop production. Make a web concept map on how well you understand what you have seen. Be guided by the questions given below. You may use a similar web concept map below. This image is the example of a web concept map. Let's apply. Mang Ruben is a beginner farmer preparing his farm for crop production. Help him explain the steps in preparing the land by filling up the ladder form step 1 to step 5 and explain clearly. Activity again. Make and send it in your Messenger or Google Classroom. Layout garden plants. Number 1. Draw one borderline on your bond paper. Use the following data making your layout. Activity again. Select your answer in the box provided. Write your answer in a separate sheet of paper. That's all for the lesson. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share my videos, and click the notification bell to get updated in my recent videos. Thank you for watching.